Who did that "Hold My Hand" song?
Hootie.
Like Hootie. Yeah. So, I mean, there we go. Darius Rucker. Darius Rucker can come in and do it instead.
Yes, that is an amazing idea. You're going to want to come back here on Monday after the Oscars. We are doing a live sort of Monday morning quarterbacking of the Oscars. We've got a link to that below. So go ahead and hit that notify me button so you don't forget, because, it's easy to sleep in the next day.
Sure. And it's earlier than usual for us. We're going to be doing this at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Monday. So, join us and we'll hack through the rubble and see what we can find.
We'll see if the Ninja Squad had to swoop in and prevent any interlopers
contingencies
from causing mayhem on live television. God forbid. So final thoughts on the Oscars. It is in a couple of days here. Do you want to change any of your picks from our live thing we did?
Yeah, not really. I mean, again, I think the Oscars are fun in the moment, but I mean, it's beyond just like a joke that we forget who won. We tend to forget who won because I think the final arbiter of any of this is history. History decides in 10 years, 20 years, what movies we still think about and talk about and that reverberate and that mean something to us, that become quoted, that become t-shirts, all that stuff. And the Oscars sort of, like anything else, are just kind of grasping at how we feel about specific things and people in the moment. And then maybe that moment ends,
I want to change my documentary pick.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I know I said I had next to All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, I put a little X, but in the last few days, I have come to think that it's definitely going to be Navalny.
Okay.
So if you were going off of our picks and you still have time to change your ballot, if I were you, I would change it to Navalny, because they are both excellent films, but I feel like increasingly it's a good way to say screw you to Putin. And that would be the prevailing sentiment there.
There is that. I'm going to stick with All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. Do with that what you will.
Okay. And I'm also a little iffy on supporting actress. I had picked Angela Bassett to do the thing, but it might be Carrie Condon. I'm beginning to think
more. Oh, really?
More.
So not even Jamie Lee.
No, or that too. Like, I think of all the categories, that is still the one that's really the most up in the air. But I'm thinking about it more that Banshees might win nothing, and a lot of times randomly, like the supporting actress winner will be from a film that didn't win anything else. It means nothing.
Yeah, but I think usually that's when the supporting actress nominee is one of the only nominees of that movie.
And this has
like Jennifer Hudson
things.
Was the only nominated performer from Dreamgirls,
Oh.
But I think there's other.
I see.
Who knows? But I did see somebody on Twitter say, yeah, like supporting actress, one of those categories where pretty much anyone but Hong Chow could win.
Mm-hmm.
And no diss on Hong Chow. She's great, but I don't think people are, that movie is not carrying away folks the way they thought it was going to.
Lady Gaga will not perform Hold My Hand live at the Oscars because she is too busy shooting Joker Folie à Deux. So she didn't have time to put together the kind of razzmatazz spectacle that you would expect from Lady Gaga.
Well, sure, she's not going to phone it in. Who did that "Hold My Hand" song?
Hootie.
Hootie, yeah. So, I mean, there we go. Darius Rucker can come in and do it instead.
Yes, that is an amazing idea. I love that. Here he is with "Hold My Hand." Darius Rucker.
The other one, but it's fine.
Oh, so close. So that's a sad omission on Oscar night. And then from last year's Oscars, Chris Rock has finally talked about The Slap in elaborate detail. He had a live comedy special on Netflix over the weekend, and he talked about The Slap finally. So
he did the thing that people have been waiting for a year for him to address. And Dave and I were talking about this, and it's like, we're really just never going to know all the stuff. There's just this is clearly a beef that goes back for years and dovetails into various different things. And so, like, even after Chris Rock breaks the silence and tells the whole thing. Will Smith immediately is like, what? No, I apologize. Why are we still talking about this? So it's like, we got this weird moment where the celebrity bubble parted just enough for us to see this thing happen on live television, which normally would have happened like at somebody's party in Bel Air, and we would never have known about it. Mm-hmm. And now we're like, but we're never going to get all the juicy details because everybody involved has publicists. So, yes, we now have Chris Rock's version that he feels like sharing with the world of this, but really, we're never going to know.
And nothing weird like that will ever happen again. That's the bummer, too. They're going to have that thing locked down. Alex Gibney is doing a documentary about Elon Musk.
Yes.
That should be good.
Bring it.
As we know, Alex Gibney is thorough.
Oh, yeah.
If you've seen any of his movies, he does not do anything half-assed. It is chock full of information.
And let's face it, with Elon, there's just receipts lying around all over the place. So,
sure. People willing to talk. I mean, but his receipts are already out on Twitter. He tweets his receipts.
True. Yeah. He's not really keeping that stuff on lockdown very well. So I think there's going to be a wealth of material going all the way back to his parents and their apartheid ruby mine or whatever it was where his money comes from in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I look forward to it.
Sylvester Stallone is talking about why he was not in Creed 3.
Did anyone miss him in Creed 3?
I did not miss him. I think I realized afterward, there was no Stallone.
Yeah, they mentioned Rocky a couple times, oh yeah, right, okay, but whatever. He is so not essential to this part of the franchise. Yes, all the movies that had Rocky in the title, he needed to be in, but now, whatever, who cares? What was his excuse?
He was not on board with Michael B. Jordan's vision for where this character and where this franchise should go, because it goes into some darker places, because it goes into Adonis Creed's childhood and some things that he experienced, that kind of traumatized him and also shaped him and propel him toward this drive for greatness. Stallone says, I'm a traditionalist. I'm sentimental. I think it should be an uplifting story. And the way he saw this going wasn't uplifting. And I think that's what's exciting about it is that the way it depicts that final fight between Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, he takes chances in terms of storytelling, in terms of visual effects, and it's just not the kind of Rocky movie that Rocky is associated with ordinarily. So
also, you have no say at this point. You didn't even create the character of Adonis Creed. You gave us Apollo Creed. We're now on to another generation and a whole other set of filmmakers who are doing this stuff. So it's be in the movie or don't be in the movie, but you are beside the point at this point, frankly.
Also, it's a whole big long spat with Irwin Winkler.
Okay, sure. And I'm sure that plays a big role in it. And Irwin Winkler's burned a lot of bridges over the years.
This goes back to the original Rocky, this feud, because Stallone signed over the rights to it when he was young and didn't know what he was doing. And Irwin Winkler has never shared a penny with him from the franchise anyway. So that's what that's about. Nancy Meyers is making a $130 million Netflix movie.
That's going to be one hell of a kitchen is all I can say.
Amazing throw pillows.
Yes. The needle point will be, look, why shouldn't Nancy Meyers back her Brinks up truck up to the Netflix, gold mine as it's going on right now? But, we talked about this when we talked about We Have a Ghost. It's I worry that people are going to Netflix and getting the payday and then shooting scripts that are not ready. That need to be developed further, that need to be guided by somebody that isn't doing that job at Netflix. It is just they're in the carte blanche business. And I think that's a dangerous place for any creative person to be in. There's a really great documentary about the French filmmaker who gave us Diabolique and The Wages of Fear, and he got to a place in his career where he could make a movie with unlimited money and time, and he never finished it. So I'm glad that they are throwing these kind of checks around to women and to filmmakers of color and all that stuff. But I just think that Netflix has this track record now of making a lot of talented people's shittiest movie. Like
the Red Notice franchise.
Yes.
Which it will soon be. Yes. But apparently though, this inspired by Nancy Meyers' actual marriage.
To Charles Shire?
Yes.
Okay.
So supposedly it's inspired by that whole relationship and like the two of them being, longtime Hollywood insiders and the scandals.
And collaborators.
Yeah. So that was supposedly what it's about. That could be fun. We have trailers that have come out in the past week. One is for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
He's gonna die.
Wait, did you hear that? What was that? Well, nothing we can do.
Nick and I watched and didn't even really crack a smile. It looks not funny at all, but what's interesting is the animation looks a lot like Into the Spider-Verse. And I think we're going to be seeing that a lot. We saw that quite a bit with the new Puss in Boots. It also has sort of a similar look, like the characters, there's almost like a vibrating kind of like sheen coming off of them in the action sequences. I'm sure you guys who are much more knowledgeable about animation can tell me that this existed before Spider-Verse and it's just maybe become popular because of that, but it's okay. Seth Rogen is very heavily involved with it. So that is coming out eventually and we'll review it. Also, what looks kind of cute is Ghosted with Chris Evans and Ana de Armas.
Who the hell are you? I'm the boyfriend.
She is a CIA agent and he went on a date with her and kind of fell for her and then she ghosted him. And when he goes to track her down and be a lovesick puppy, he finds out who she actually is. And so what's an interesting, fun thing about that is that she gets to kick all kinds of ass and he's just pretty and dumb and along for the ride. So that could be fun. That'll be on Apple TV Plus. And we have a couple of deaths to talk about. This happened a week ago, but we didn't have news on Tuesday because we had Oscar picks. Tom Sizemore died at 61 after suffering an aneurysm.
Yes.
Very short life and sad death and sad years there toward the end for Tom Sizemore. And then just in the last couple of days, Robert Blake died at home at 89.
Yes, one of the last, but not the last, surviving member of the Our Gang shorts, which people forget. His career goes back that far, and then of course, In Cold Blood, and then the TV show Beretta, all the way up to David Lynch's Lost Highway, and then there's that whole thing where maybe he killed his wife, but then he got acquitted. So who knows?
He just went back into the restaurant to get his gun, but that gun's not the murder weapon. And the stuntmen who were supposedly hired to kill her, they were drug addicts. And so they were unreliable witnesses. And that's why it all fell apart. But yeah, there was a civil suit. He had to pay millions of dollars. It bankrupted him. And so always had dreams of returning to the spotlight. But that's tough to do when you are accused of murder. So Robert Blake, 89.